How's it going, folks? We're going to be playing the Battle of Shiloh today. We will be playing as the Union. And I always take the Brigadier General. I always try to go for the middle. So we went for the sort of middle average difficulty, basically, and move forward. And for those of you that don't know, Shiloh was a Union victory. But initially during the battle, the Union had a really tough time. And it was actually Grant that said, "We aren't beat by a damn sight yet," when the Union thought they were losing. They were absolutely able to come back. It was a tough fight, but absolutely one that the Union won. So we're going to go ahead and get started here and see how this all comes to play. Hopefully we win, but we'll have to see. We've transported our army via the Tennessee River to the location of Pittsburgh Landing, and we are preparing to advance further south. Love the map, by the way. Very, very beautiful map, Shiloh. We spread out encampments to guard a broader area for any possible rebel attack, starting from the west at Shiloh Church, and ending here on the west bank of the Tennessee River. All right. So again, we can expect a lot of difficulty in the first part of the battle here. Pick support enemy movements a few miles south. Okay. So we've got to defend Shiloh Church here. How's it going, Napoleon? It would be wise to deploy skirmishers to scout this area and understand the Confederates' true intentions. Interesting. Okay, so we have to hold specifically the church here. We don't know where they're attacking from. They could attack from the north as well. But I'm guessing that they're mostly going to be attacking from the south. We can send this cavalry to go ahead and get basically a look at their location. And I wonder, we do get a cover bonus here, but I would guess that we get a better cover bonus over here by the houses. Let's see if I'm right. I could be wrong. And same with this guy, with Peabody. I would guess we get a better cover bonus over here by the woods. And also get a better position here while we wait for the oncoming Confederates. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, Napoleon. The camps can't be the best defensive ground. I mean, at least not when compared to the surrounding woods, stuff like that. And with McDowell here, I can actually get on the farm and set up shop. All right, let's see. Oh, look at this, guys. We actually have a farm location here where we could set up some guys. I think for now I'll stick here, but eventually we could head there. I heard some shots there. Let's see. So 43% and over here 43%. Yeah, it's definitely better than the camp. It's not just by a little bit. Okay, General Johnson has been spotted. He's going to be in this general area over here in the woods. So you know what? We might actually be able to move our forces up here. We know where he is. So let's start setting up some defenses in the woods before he even gets here. Seeing, don't use those town covers. They're bad. They're not horrible, but yeah, there's better covers in the woods, for instance. There's worse places to stand, like, you know, in the middle of the sort of pathway here, etc. There are definitely worse locations. Hey, Carly, how you doing? All right, let's move the cavalry up just to get a view of where the enemy's at. They should be arriving pretty damn soon. Yeah, there we go. We got Hardy and Shaver moving up. Sure enough. We'll try to get over here, guys. So this is what Napoleon means by stopping them at the river. They're going to try to cross here with Shaver. I'll actually double-quick these boys. Try to run into position. Not sure if we're going to get there in time. We better hope we do, though. I see what you're saying. Napoleon is suggesting we actually pull back and basically hold at the river here. It's not a bad idea. But I might leave Hildebrand here to sort of cover Peabody's movement. Put it that way. And then again, I think, you know what? I'm going to engage him. Forget that. I'm going to engage. Let's do it, boys. Let's bring our cannons up a little bit closer. I'm not sure if the enemy's going to attack us from up here in the north, but let's just assume they're not. And that way we might be able to bring Buckland down. Well, I think it's risky. I really do. Yeah, they outnumber us. That is true. You make a good point, Napoleon, and since they're coming through the woods, it's going to be tough. Let him have it, boys. Look at this. Stuart's coming up as well. Yeah, Napoleon's absolutely right. We're going to have to bring McDowell down here. Or actually, we'll bring Buckland, sorry, down here. And we'll put McDowell over here in the woods. I don't know if Peabody knows where to run to. So we're just going to send him this way. He's getting a flank attack here, and this is why I don't want to about face with anybody. This is about the right place to start setting up a cannon, I think. We could start firing at Lindsay, at least when we're like right across the river there. It's a pretty good spot. And we'll set Peabody up over here with McDowell. We don't want them overlapping, though. That's going to be very important. But if we put them right there, we should be safe. Again, we're trying to hold this area, so we don't necessarily have to move out as much as we have been. We really pushed it. Yeah, absolutely, Carly. So we'll go ahead, we'll double quick. We'll fall back, first of all. We'll try to get the rest of our boys across here, but yeah, it seems to be an okay defensive position. Again, on day one, the Confederacy usually does well in this battle. So we might not do so well on this first day, but we're still going to give it our best shot. See if McCulloch can spot him. Yeah, I think you're right, Napoleon. I mean, it's not as bad as open ground, but yeah, it's got its negatives. Oh, looks like they're trying to flank us here. I don't think they're going to be able to, but it's a interesting try, nonetheless. I don't want them getting to that location. All right, Wood's right there. Wood's a very well-known officer here. Oh, boy. Nice. Got some shots on Lindsay. Lindsay. Not Lindsay. Lindsay. True Southerner. Now, he's coming right across here, and I think we'll get a nice volley on him with Peabody and McCulloch. And if Barrett can reload that cannon fast enough, we get some canister shot at a shaver. Oh, Barrett. Oh, come on. Don't let us down now, son. Captain Samuel Barrett is killed. Barrett is dead. Leader of the artillery there. We are hitting Lindsay for a lot, though, and looks like they're going to rout. And Barrett is getting some shots off still, even though he was killed in action. Probably some sort of headshot action there, man. That's rough. I'm going to put Hildebrand back here. And it looks like Barrett is going to have to rout. I'd love to take this location here, but as Napoleon said, it's just not as good as the woods. Even though it is a fortified position, it doesn't provide as much cover as the forest does. So we're not going to be going there. We will move forward a little bit here, though, to open up on Shaver as he crosses. We just don't want these guys crossing the river. All right, Hildebrand, watch our northern flank, because we've got Avery and probably a few more guys coming. Yep, Wood is going to try to flank. We're going to have to flip McDowell around for sure, just to target Wood. And that leaves us a bit open, as you guys can see. But we got to do what we got to do, guys. Color fire on Avery here, too. All right, we need some fire on those Confederates, boys. Come on now. I'm going to try to flank with McCulloch. Occasionally, cavalry charges work pretty well in this game. Here we go. For the Union! Now, of course, they've got that melee combat bonus, the Confederacy, so I probably don't want to get into melee combat with my infantry, but this is looking okay. It looks like they're charging with Russell. They're going to do the Confederate charge and use that to their advantage. We're just going to hold our position, guys. Just hold. Hold until relieved. Hold until relieved. It's a Market Garden. It's going to be a failure like Market Garden as well if we're not careful. All right, come on, boys. Hold on now. Barrett, we need to get that shell shot out faster. I know you're dead, but second in command is to do something. And they're right there. And you know what? This is quite a risk, but I'm going to do a charge here with Hildebrand and... Well, no, Hildebrand is not doing the charge. Maybe they're waiting to get a shot off. Actually, their condition's 50%. Yeah, I guess I can understand that. they might not be able to do a charge. Remember, to do a charge, you've got to be up close to the hundreds. Here, we're pretty close, but Wood is taking off there. A lot of dead rebels right there. Nonetheless, we're going to keep firing. He's for sure not going to retreat right away. He will be back. We'll make sure McDowell gets another volley, and Hildebrand as well. Fire, boys! They're all using Springfield M1842s there, and look at that, man. Almost 100 men right there. Actually, more than 100 men just killed in that one volley. Technically 2, but it's neither here nor there. All right, we'll flip McDowell around, and now he can provide some cover fire, or some assisting fire, I should say, on Johnston and the rest of these guys, and Hildebrand can probably do the same. If anything, I might counter-charge with Hildebrand. But again, he's not in the best shape. I think McDowell is going to be the best for a counter-charge. So here we go, guys. We're going for the charge. Get him, boys! You know, we're going to try with Hildebrand. I don't think he'll go for it. Yeah, he's going for it. Nice! The Union doing a charge? What's going to happen, boys? Still a lot of enemies there. Colonel Everett Peabody's wounded. We've routed one of the enemy units. Is Russell going to be routed? Yes! But they still have so many men. And again, this first day in Shiloh was pretty good for the Confederacy. Napoleon's saying you can't win. I think he might be right. Never say never, as they say, right? Get back, McDowell. Get back to the woods. Give him hell, boys. Give him hell. Just got to get McDowell back. And have Hildebrand fire from the woods here. I mean, we definitely damaged them. It was not a bad charge, honestly, considering how many men they had. Not a bad charge, but Stewart and Shaver here are going to overrun us, almost certainly. And on day one, this is what it was like at Shiloh. I mean, it was hell for the Union. We're still going to fight for Shiloh Church, but obviously it's getting less and less likely that we'll be able to hold the church itself. Let's get Buckland up here as well. Even the artillery, or the cavalry, the artillery, I got it right that time, is struggling to get some shots off here. Got to move Shepard back, man. They've already taken the point. Peabody, come on now. McDowell, keep firing. Let's see if Barrett can get one more shot off. It's going to be really tough, because they're probably going to charge him before he's able to. Charge. And again, with a wounded commander, charge seems less and less likely. Hildebrand surrendered. Wow, guys. I'm amazed that our guy actually surrendered to the rebels. I didn't want that to happen. Come on, McDowell, get rid of him. See if we can get Lindsay. Lindsay's got quite a lot of cavalry. Fire at Russell. He's out in the open, but so are we. And we have secured the church again. And again, if we can hold it for that countdown timer, we win. Yeah, no, I know, Napoleon. Don't give spoilers, man, to people who haven't seen it yet. It's gonna be contested. I still like to cause as many casualties as I can before we get to part 2. Yeah, we're going to pull back because it's better for these guys to survive than to be cut down. So at least see if we can't get some revenge on Stevens, who forced Peabody to run. Unfortunately, Buckland's not going to be much for a charge, so we're going to pull back with him, and it looks like McDowell was not able to route in time. I kind of want the church to stop being contested right now, just because of the amount of casualties being caused by the enemy right now on our retreating troops. Okay, so there we go. We got some troops from McClellan's division. Might be able to take back the church. We'll have to see. Marsh and Hare. But again, we probably want to move through here, and that's going to take just a bit too long. This is a better area to move through, since it's got the woods here. But I think it's just going to take way too long for us to push these guys out. Yeah, we're trying not to... Don't give spoilers. I mean, it is the Civil War. They could technically look on Wikipedia, but Yeah, let's try not to do that. We know there are, like, in this game, for those of you that haven't played it yet, there are multiple parts to a battle, so it's not just like, you know, this is it after the timer runs out. It goes through the actual historical battle itself, so like how many days it took, how many different engagements. Battles in the Civil War especially is never usually just like one engagement. That's a skirmish, you know. The battle is like several engagements over a protracted period of time in the same area as well. Or generally the same area. Hey, Milsimmer, good to see you, bud. Alright, we got some more units. We could technically try to just push over here. But I don't think we have that opportunity just because the enemy's basically everywhere. And like Napoleon said, it might be better for us to get out of this area. Hi, Bob. How's it going? See, I just don't think we have time. I think Napoleon's probably right that the best thing to do here is wait for the next phase of the battle, save your men, and use them then, because we're going to get a much better position at that point. I do think, though, Napoleon, if I'm not wrong, we still have to take Shiloh Church eventually, right, to win the battle. I'm pretty sure that even if we don't defend it now, we have to retake it at some point. I want to try to keep in the woods here so we get that defensive bonus. It's going okay, Bobsters, as well as could be expected on Shiloh on day one. I mean, well, I should say it's not going okay. But I'm confident that on day two or later on in day one, we can get maybe a better result. We'll have to wait and see. All right, 6 seconds, and there we go. It Confederates attack on our left. The Confederates are massing on our left flank. Now the battle is advancing, and this is what we want. We must make a defensive line and hold them. We're going to get reinforcements as soon as they are available. Our main objective is to hold the center of our encampment. And our left. Godspeed. Okay. So, pretty much, yeah, we've got to hold this area. This is a terrible place to be. We want to be in a wooded area if possible. I'm not seeing, though, a victory. There it is. What am I talking about? So we'll get these guys in, actually, better woods. These aren't very dense woods. You really want to get your guys in the densest woods possible, obviously. So we'll sort of start setting them up here. We have some more units here, but I think Stuart's going to be better off just hanging out here for now. We've also got to hold this position, so we want to be careful, guys. The Union forever, hurrah, boys, hurrah. There's General Bragg. Yep, showing up on our right, technically. But for the viewer, the left. He might be coming up this road here, so I'm going to set Albin up here. And actually, I kind of want to put Miller over here. I just hope that these woods still give me cover, but probably not as much as these dense woods. We'll find out. We've also got Ingersoll. I didn't even spot Ingersoll, who can basically go take a look at the enemy, and some skirmishers with Compton. So we definitely want to move up with Ingersoll and Compton, maybe do some damage. Okay, so we got to hold until our army mobilizes. Pretty standard operating procedure. But I might move this unit up here. I don't think they should be out here by themselves, Stuart. All right, Jenkins. Come on, Compton. Ingersoll, you too. There's a huge cavalry unit. Nice! Got some shell shot off at him. Artillery's getting very good range, despite the woods, so I'm liking that. But yeah, I'm thinking it's probably better for us to just move back with these skirmishers and set up a defense with them than try and fight the Confederacy over here in the woods. It's not usually a good idea. Alright, Jenkins is really getting up here. I'm going to push Compton up a bit, try to get some shots, and we might even have Stewart, see if he can't get a volley. I'm not too concerned about a cavalry unit, as long as it doesn't charge us. Sure, they could still do damage, they've got guns, but Not as much as an infantry unit ready to go. It's just not the same thing. It's not comparable. Come on, Stuart. Shoot them, men. Good shooting. Reload. We want to try and knock as many of these guys down as possible. But of course, the main threat is the enemy's infantry coming up here with Gibson. I think Stuarts can still get a volley. Might as well. Nice shot. Well, actually, they got one guy. That's what happens when you try and shoot at a unit running through the woods uphill by a ravine. They're probably mostly going to get away. What we will do is push this guy, Stuart, over here. We could try to stop them at these small canals, but these don't have as much stopping power as like a major river. So I think we'll skip that. What I don't like is the fact Jenkins is still around. Nice. Let's see if he'll route off the field, guys. How amazing would that be if he routed right away? But it looks he's going to come back. He'll probably go to another part of the battlefield and reform, regroup, etc. Put Miller in a better position. What's wrong with you, Miller? Your men not been trained properly? Hey, Araman, how you doing, bud? Oh man, enemy's got some artillery. Not what I expected. But we've got Jenkins here pretty cornered with Ingersoll and Compton. So we're just going to totally shoot this guy. This is like shooting fish in a barrel. What sort of gun does Compton have? Lawrence, .54. Well, we're going to make sure they never come back. And so far, I'm not seeing any of Bragg's men approaching. I mean, hey, if he doesn't show up, we win automatically. So I think that works out either way. And it looks like even with the light tree cover, we still get 100% coverage. So that's good to know. It doesn't matter how the trees look on the actual screen. As long as we are on trees, we're going to get that cover bonus. And covered by the trees, of course. Like if half of our unit is out, we'll get a little less. Let's move the supplies. I don't want these supplies so far out here. Let's move them a little closer. Right, Robertson's right there. And I'd love to send our cavalry out to try and hit Robinson, but I don't know if that's wise. Just send your boys forward, Breckenridge. All right, our boys are spotting some rebels off in the distance, appearing through the mist. And of course, I want to first hit them with Beale's canister, excuse me, shell shot in this case. Feel confident that trying to cross this field, we are going to lay waste to this Confederate army. Trabue is going to take a major hit. Although it's amazing that he can actually fire from here. Might be able to target and do some damage to a lot of our men. Oh, that's awesome, Armand. Armand, I didn't even know there were mods, man, for the game. If you can share us the link, please do, man. I would love if there were mods that allowed you to play, like, the Spanish-American War. I think, you know, you could easily make a Spanish-American War, or is it a Mexican-American War, excuse me. The Mexican-American War, you could easily make that using the unit templates given here. Just have to, like, you know, change some of the Confederate units. These would be the Mexicans. Here we go, give them hell. Man, we got a lot of Confederates climbing up here on our eastern side. It's gonna be tough. Thanks, man. I'd like to take a look at that. There's a lot of different games we have on the channel that have some incredible mods associated with them. And for the ones that are in the Steam Workshop, you know, that's easy for me to access, but as Armand knows, I'm not the most tech-savvy person in the world. So if I didn't even know that Ultimate General had mods. That's really cool, man. I'm going to keep Ingersoll here on Jenkins' case just to bring Compton down, because I don't like this flanking fire that's happening to Stuart. Not much we can do about it. I'm going to actually push Albin over here on Tribue's flank. It's risky, but I think it's necessary. Get really close to these guys. And actually, if we get in that cornfield, or that wheat field, It'll increase our unit's defensive capabilities. Nice! Reload. We just have to hold, guys. Although it's a lot harder than it sounds. Yeah, especially this area here. Let's fire down on Jackson. Jackson's an incredible, incredible commander. Thanks so much, man. Oh, that's unfortunate. So it's, yeah, it's one mod. I was hoping for some total conversions. I think when I spoke to Nick, the creator of the game, that he had mentioned something about maybe modding being a little more difficult in this game, which makes sense. Jenkins is back. This is what we get for being complacent. We could just take that back with Ingersoll, but yeah, I thought that we were going to be able to hold him with just the cavalry, but it looks like he is not routing anymore. Look at all those rebel units. What's happening over here? Williamson is fighting on top of the hill. Bayonets out, slashing everywhere, every which way. I mean, we'll hold to the very end, but with this many enemies, it's tough. It looks like Jackson is being forced off the hill here. Williams really needs to just regain his composure and reform. Not even keep on fighting. I know the temptation here is to chase the enemy. We can't have that. Especially since we're getting a second charge by Anderson. Come on, Williams. See if we can get a flanking shot with skirmishers. Even though it's only 83 men, flanking shots really hurt morale. So imagine if we could get this guy to retreat. That would be great. Old Williams. Yeah, it's a nasty volley from Anderson. Another thing I wish about this game is I wish the gunpowder would stick around a little bit longer. I like when the gunpowder is just kind of like, you know, all around the field. All right, they're charging Stewart. We are not going to countercharge. That would be craziness. What we might do is move Albin back here. Let's see if Miller can fire into that nasty crowd, or actually we might even want to move Miller back a bit too. Problem is we're going to get flanking shots from Tribune no matter what happens. So you know what? We're going to have to pull him back. We really have no choice. Put Alvin right here. And let's see if we can put Miller right here. Come on, Stuart, reform, son. We need you. Just sort of like, you know, the movement we did there was just minimal, but it makes a huge difference in this fight. Again, as you can see here, getting shots in the woods. We've gotten more kills with our Compton in that volley than we did with the entire infantry unit, because of course in the woods you've got to worry about trees, branches, all sorts of things, just general visibility. So the enemy's going to have a little bit of an easier time moving across this area. What we have to do is fire at the enemy that's trying to move towards us through the woods. That's going to be the one that's going to take the most damage, like Pond here. Still in a defensive position, more or less. 1 minute, that's it, boys. That's all we got to do is hold 1 minute. It's not the end of the battle, but it's a start. Now, I don't think we're going to be able to hold this area. If we can bring Williams back, it would probably be a good idea to put him over here in defense of this area, but it's going to be really tough. We might be able to hold Larkin Bell Field. Or is this Spain Field? I always like to find out, for those of you watching, if you had to choose a side, if you were back in this time period, you had to choose a side, who would you fight for? The Union or the Confederacy, and why? We just get interesting answers when we ask that question. I, of course, would be totally Union. Although I'd probably, honestly, try to stay out of the war entirely if I was around during that time period. Maybe some sort of pacifist or traveling snake oil salesman. All right, nice. As you guys saw, that just like scatter of shot was our artillery. I'm wondering, though, are we getting friendly fire by doing that? I'm thinking maybe we should actually aim the artillery over towards Tribute, get some shell shot over at him, because he's actually got quite a lot of men left. And we've been hitting him a lot lately, so maybe his morale is a little low. It'd be really nice to get his unit to retreat. Unfortunately, it looks like our skirmishers are running back to their farms. Does anybody know where that term comes from? What Civil War game general they're running back to their farms comes from? Let's see if any of you guys have played it. It's one of my favorite Civil War games of all time. I'm not able to load it anymore, unfortunately. Robert's division is joining the defense. Hey, that's not bad. Wildman. Push, come on. Williams, get back up there. Look at that, guys. That is much needed. It really is. Got Veach and Lauman here. Hopefully they can retake this area. I still think we can hold this position just because of all the wood cover. The enemy's got more men than we do, but unless they charge through this, I don't think they can break us out of here. Nice. Aramon says, since he's from Kansas, he would definitely go Union, but his neighbors would try to kill him. And that has to do with the, you've told me about it a lot of times, Aramon. What is the name of that conflict, where it was almost like a civil war within a civil war, if that makes sense. A lot of guerrilla fighting between sort of armed bands of people that supported the North or the South, but not necessarily part of their armies, just, you know, supporters. That would be sort of pro one or the other. So there we go. Martin was crushed there. I'm actually surprised considering the amount of men he has, but this definitely lets us know that we might be able to flank some of these other units here and make sure that this area is never taken. Unfortunately, I don't know if Williams can make it up this hill with this thundering fire. Veach, get a shot. Come on now. Right into Anderson's flank. All right, Wallace is delayed, but he's also here to help us. That's good to know. Look at that, man. Yeah, Sweeney on the way. MacArthur and Tuttle. Send Tuttle over here. Look at that. Anderson is moving off the hill, but the Confederates are taking this location. Larkin Bell is contested. It's amazing, though, that we were able to push Anderson back. And it was probably because of Veach's flanking fire that they were forced to go back. And now we got to get Chalmers off this hill. All right, General Tiberius. How you doing, bud? Hey, Alex. How you doing, man? Hello! 3500 Brigade, thought they fixed it. How's it going, man? Flanking shot in the Chalmers, that's what we need. I'll even spare Tuttle to give a flanking shot here if you just get one volley off, because that could almost secure this area for us. Let's move Lawman over here. Jackson's going to give a nasty shot to Tuttle for this flanking shot. I really think it's worth it. And we're going to get a double one. One from Tuttle, one from Veach in quick succession. Unfortunately, Anderson is back. Anderson is definitely back. So I'm going to push Veach onto this hill. And again, this is a pretty bad position in terms of cover. But we want to hold this hill, so we're kind of forced to do this. Hit Anderson. Hit Anderson. Nice shooting, boys. Let's see if we can't push these guys forward and get Richardson and Stone and Taylor over here. Guys, if you haven't already, I see some new people in the chat. Not only make sure to subscribe here, but click the Twitch link, and please subscribe to us on Twitch. That's where we scheduled some streams this week, which we did, and they've all taken place on Twitch. We're going to have a Friday stream, and I'm actually going to make it a random game. I said I was going to allow you guys to vote, but I'm being a bit of a dictator. I'm going to go ahead and just choose something sort of randomized that I think you guys will enjoy, and next week we'll have a vote for the games. But I think we had fun with Domina, didn't we, you guys? For those of you that were there for the Domina game, I really wish there were more of those kinds of chat bots for specific games, because they're just so much fun. It really adds like an entirely different layer to the stream. Go away, Chalmers. This is our hill now. Whatever southern accent. I'll show you what weapons they have. It's a good question. So, yeah, Springfield model 1842s, and the skirmishers have Lorenz rifles. .48s? No, .49s. As for our cannons, we've got some 10-pounder ordnance here. No Napoleons. That's too bad. All right, let's get Jackson's flank here with Veach. And again, if I wasn't the Union, I'd go for a charge here. But we're in a decent position. I think a flanking shot is what's called for here. The Union is not as good in a charge as the Confederate troops in the game. The Confederates actually get a charge and melee bonus. But that doesn't mean that, you know, you just can't still charge with your Union troops. It's absolutely possible. Yeah, Martin's getting hit really bad. Excuse me. Get some coffee in me there. Jackson, come on, Veach. You guys got to learn to reload faster. It's like that scene in Glory. When he's, you guys know that scene in Glory where he's standing near the guy firing the weapon, pulls out his pistol. He's like, "Would you be reloading this fast in combat?" Starts firing the pistol near his head. Ooh, Shiloh must be secured. So there we go. We've moved on to the next part of the battle. And the rebels fiercely attacked our right, but we can hold them. Don't let them advance further. Delay them more, and if practical, hold Shiloh Church. Yeah, that's going to be tough. Shiloh Church is in a bad way. But if we get those reinforcements, who knows what could happen. As you can see, we don't hold the position, and we don't even have as many troops as the enemy does. But we've got a decent amount. We've got more than we started with. And these guys over here, I'm going to use them to flank. Wraith and Carmichael. And let's bring Timony. I think that's just such a funny name, Timony, over here. And Aramon is saying the Southerners fought for the Union too? Yeah, exactly. It's why West Virginia was a state, and again, Alabama and cavalry fighting for Sherman. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you had all sorts of different accents on either side. Even in that movie Glory that I was speaking of, there's a great representation of that, where it's one of the Union commanders who is leading a squad of freed slaves, I believe. And he's really brutal to them, and he's a Southerner. And he had basically owned slaves before the Confederacy, of course, left the Union. And at that point, he just sold them. But he still treated his soldiers like slaves, basically. And he'd shoot them. He'd call them, the N-word, that sort of thing. So it definitely occurred. Ooh, are we getting the Confederacy to move back a bit with Claiborne? I think we are. We've got to take back Shiloh Church. That's going to be very important, folks. All right, Marsh. And again, I hate these city tiles, but I'm thinking in this particular situation, it might not be a bad idea to get into one. Because it would get us set up in this area. Let's go ahead and run to that location. Also, it'd be pretty effective against the cavalry. Ooh, it's General Grant. And Grant was actually the one that uttered during this battle, "We aren't beaten by a mile yet," or something to that effect. Basically letting his men know that even though they had taken tremendous losses on the previous day at Shiloh, that they were still in the fight, they could absolutely still win. All right, Peabody, come on now. And McDowell, we might be able to, look at that. See, we were able to force Wood back with McDowell's unit just taking sort of the farmhouse here. But we still have to take that flag. We still need the stars and stripes and not the stars and bars over this particular church. All right, Johnson's moving back. This is our chance to advance. Looks like he's still going to try and hold, but I think with that flanking fire, he's going to have to break. That's it, boys. Unfortunately, Peabody is wounded in action, sort of lowering the effectiveness of his unit there. But they can still fight. Still got plenty of men and plenty of rifles. Move forward, Marsh. Oh boy, we got a lot of Confederates here with Johnston. Just look at that group of rebels. Luckily, we're firing some shell shot into that tight-knit group, but I think we need to move up with everybody. Buckland, Grant, and the supplies too. We'll even bring McCullough here, even though he's only got 77 men left. That's tragic. Sure, Gaming Kittens. That's a good point. Zero-star infantry have not much. It's very true. All right, it's ours. We want to hold here with Marsh. And hold with Peabody too, and basically just reinforce them. Time is on our side in this particular battle. But I still want to get Hare over here because Russell's trying to flank us. That's the last thing we need. We'll move Buckland up as well. There we go. Russell's running. That is a great sign. With 1902, for that unit to take off, they definitely don't expect good things. Because you've got more than enough men to lead a charge or anything like that, but they're just not going for it. Could be they don't have the strength for a charge, the stamina, etc., or simply they don't believe that it would be successful. Even guys like Claiborne here that are using the woods cover, we are doing tremendous damage. Actually, he's not fully using the woods cover. He's only getting 50%, so that's another reason we're doing a lot of damage here to Claiborne and his troops. Let's move Hare over here and see if we can't flank him. We're trying to just overlap each other. You can see, like, anytime we move, they move, and anytime they move, we start moving. They're trying to get Stewart, it looks like, over here. Maybe not. Maybe not. There we go. Shaver is running. Get out of here, Shaver. Came on the battlefield all confident, and now he's got to run like a rabbit with his tail between his legs. Yeah, really sorry to hear that, Gaming. That sounds bad, man. I would recommend. I mean, I don't know your family situation, but anytime violence is used, I would recommend letting somebody know about it. I don't know if you have like grandparents or something like that. Maybe letting them know. I wouldn't necessarily advise going to authorities. I don't know what to do in that situation like that. All I can tell you, man, is you've got a right to be upset. That sounds rough, and that's definitely not right. It's never right for a man to hit a woman. Well, let's not even get into it. There are situations, like if a woman has a lethal weapon, like a knife in her hand, but generally I wouldn't advise it. And are you in the States, Gaming Kittens? I believe you told us you were in the UK, right? Withdraw to the Hornet's Nest. This is a long, long battle. So the Confederates keep attacking us, and this is, of course, the location the Union sort of held out. It's called the Hornet's Nest for a reason. Attacking this location is just deadly for anybody advancing. But it's going to be tough because we actually have to pull back from here and set up again, reset up at the Hornet's Nest, basically. That's not good. Oh boy, we're gonna have to micromanage the hell out of this once we get here. We'll just about face, but yeah, that's weird. Okay, Veach up as well. And I'm pretty sure this is the last part of the battle. I don't know if the point can tell us. I think it is. At this point, I'm just going to rush over there, man, with all of our units. Yeah, you're in, the UK. Yeah, I would definitely, again, I don't know if you've got a grandma or something like that. I would recommend letting somebody know about it. Wow, Alex. There's one YouTuber that I really enjoy. You guys might know him. That has a very, very sad childhood in terms of the things he went through. Is Destiny. I think Aruman, you might know him. If not, you should definitely check him out. When they were like 6 years old, like for no reason. Just bizarre behavior, man. Ooh, we've got some enemy cavalry. Why, hello. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. Yeah, I'd go to your mom now, man, and honestly, I think she probably needs you near her more than watching the stream, if I had to be honest, and sort of ask her what she wants to do, if you can get her alone, something like that. Because that's not something that any woman should ever have to go through. That's unacceptable. Very few things we'll put down in this stream. We're pretty non-judgmental, but you know, hitting women is pretty up there. It's a pretty high priority here. Not hitting women, that is to say. Okay, so at this point we just have to hold this location. We're moving up everybody we can, even if it means putting one of our guys in sort of an open position, because we've got so many men in this area. Look at that, guys. Look at that Confederate advance. That is beautiful. The more I learn about humans, the more I love cats and dogs, says Aruman. Yeah, that's a good point. Problem is, since we have high intelligence, we also have a very conniving nature, and I'm not saying all humans, but a lot of humans will try to take advantage of that. Sociopaths. And I'm not saying every guy that hits a woman is a sociopath, but clearly major time for reflection. Because, at least from the statistics I've seen, when you see men that hit women, they overwhelmingly will repeat that activity. It's not like they learn their lesson the first time, like, oh, I fucked up, that was horrible. You know, it's like, it's something that's repeated consistently. If it was like a one-time thing, and obviously you profusely apologize, even then it would be like horrible, but you know, at least it's something you can maybe get over. I don't know, I used to, like, it sounds terrible, it's a terrible thing to say, but when I was like a little kid, I was a bad little kid. I don't think like horrible. You know, I wasn't like a monster, but I was like kind of a brat. And I remember my mom getting so angry that she threw a plate at me. It's a glass plate. It like missed my head and shattered against the wall. And I was just like, oh my gosh. But I was by no means raised in an abusive family. It was just you know, a few instances where she totally lost her cool. Kind of funny. There we go. Anderson's out of here. Get lost, Anderson. Okay, we're just going to hold out. Again, we've got good positions here in the woods. I see no reason to leave them. Let's put Wraith over here, and we'll put Hare over here, too. Just because I want these guys as, like, replacements if some of our units here retreat. I don't see that happening, though. The Confederates have to cross this open field to make it to us, and it's just too much stuff here for them to deal with. Now, they do have guys like Claiborne that are trying to flank us. I think that's their only real chance of beating us. Because in terms of crossing this field, it's a death trap, for sure. They ain't making it to the Hornet's Nest. Yeah, that's not cool. I don't know what you can do in your position. It's tough to let you know what you can do in your position, given I don't know your circumstances, etc. But that's completely unacceptable. If you have school, I don't want to get you in trouble with this guy. That's the thing that I'm most concerned about. But I also don't want you to be afraid of telling people. If you have, if you go to school, if you're young enough to be in school, I would recommend maybe going to your teachers, your principal, something like that, somebody that can actually like provide some assistance immediately. I wouldn't hold that stuff back. I think that's a bad idea. Again, I don't know your situation, but I would really consider that bringing that to somebody in a position of authority. Because I can assure you that 99% of people, when they hear that, are going to be on your mom's side and are going to try and do something to help you. It's not a position that we really want you in. Oh boy, we got some Confederate fire here to our west. We're low on ammo, and our supply wagon is empty. Not good. We can get Johnson here on the road. Yeah, I think that's a really good idea, gaming kittens. It's a really good idea. And telling the teacher. Try to tell several people. That's, because you want evidence. So the goal here is try to tell as many people as you can, as many people as will listen in positions of authority. So this is documented. Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna go ahead and boom. I think we got this. Move hair up now, and Albin. I have to say, I think that the fast speed in this game is kind of funny. It reminds me of like a silent film. If we could only put this in black and white, take away the sound, it would be really cool. We might do that. Maybe we can mess with some video settings and make that happen. And they're not going to make it up here. No way. No how. In fact, I'll put our guys right at the Hornet's Nest. Now you see why it's called the Hornet's Nest. This area right here is the Hornet's Nest, all right? And our guys are basically going to set up in this wooded area, and they've got, a rifle behind every tree, just ready to deal with the Confederates. Yeah, they're going to try to make their charge here. It's sort of the final charge for the enemy. The Pickett's charge of this battle. I guess we'd call it Chalmers' charge. Charge with Sweeney. I think just because of numbers here, we'll probably win this charge. At that point, we can turn around and flank Jackson. Yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. See? A rout by Jackson. Now we have to deal with both of these guys, though. That's not necessarily a good thing. Hey, Grace, you already said hi, bud. What happened? What's up, man? Don't tell me you forgot you stopped by the stream. That's gonna make me feel real sad. It's like you came upon the stream for the first time. Jackson. Look at all those rebels, man. Look at that. Over here as well. Over here as well. I mean, just crossing this field. What did I tell you guys? Can't wait to see the actual casualty count here for this battle. MacArthur's actually in pretty bad cover. Leave this position. We're just so close to a victory. I'm glad to hear that, man. I appreciate that you think you can talk with me with this, and certainly with this kind of stuff that's more serious, you know. All I can do is offer advice. I'm really sorry that I can't help you, because I think everybody in the chat, in a situation like that, we all want to, you know, we wish we were there and we could actually help directly. Probably the first thing would be calling the police. But, you know, again, it's always something, if it's something serious, you know, feel free to bring it to the chat. Really anything in this chat, we're pretty open to anything. I think we rarely ban people here. And now hold Pittsburgh Landing. Oh my goodness. Another location. Now this is the last line of defense. And the ironclads USS Tyler and USS Lexington are standing off the banks of Pittsburgh Landing ready to assist us. Nice. So I guess this location at the Hornets' Nest no longer becomes necessary. What we want to do is grab this group and get over here quickly. This whole battle is basically like one massive withdrawal, but it ends in a victory for the Union if we play our cards right. Love that. Those Confederates are still on the field. Some of our guys are going to have to stay back to kind of stem the tide. Since these guys are out of ammo, you know what? What better time than to charge? Unfortunately, they don't want to charge. Those ironclads should also really help, but as you can see, in certain situations, the enemy's quite close. With Johnson, for instance. And we could try to sort of cut them off before they get there, but I think it's going to be pretty tough. Alright, here we go. I want to get Sweeney through Gladden. I think I'm going to charge just to try to get this guy over here. I mean, again, the charge might end actually and these guys get surrendering, because if we get stuck here, with all these Confederates advancing, we have nowhere to run to. But I'm confident we can hold. Now look at this. So for instance, we should have held this position. That was my fault. It's actually a pretty good position to fire from there in the Hornet's Nest. So we'll go there with Williams and with Tuttle. There's no reason to stop or to lose that area. And actually, even with our artillery here, we can start firing. Looks like Jenkins has actually managed to charge behind Tuttle with his cavalry. Those sabers at the ready, man. And now we want to get right behind these trenches. These are pretty good. They generally do their job. I'm actually going to go ahead and fire at Johnson here. I just don't want him on our flank. Getting some good shots at guys like Miller and stuff. So now let's just take his focus away and try to damage him. Here we go, Gladden. Come on. It looks like he's about to run. And with Sweeney, we have a really large infantry force here. It's going to be very helpful if we can get him up there to Pittsburgh Landing. Volley of fire now. Anytime. There we go. Here we go. They are routing. And again, that's our chance to escape as well. We'll put MacArthur here. And for any of the guys that aren't specifically on the trenches, we will just kind of put them behind the actual trench works. Throw a massive volley here on Johnson. These guys can keep moving over here to Pittsburgh Landing. And we'll put McAllister over here as well. We'll try to put them like right there. Watch the friendly fire. They seem to have avoided any friendly shots, so we're lucky. But ammo is running low for some of our artillery, and some of our artillery is just getting overrun here. Like Timony, for instance. Hello, Bjorn. He says, use your boats. Yeah, they are already firing. We don't get to control them, but they're firing on Gladden right now and doing a tremendous amount of damage. Make sure, guys, if you're new here, to sub, and please don't forget to catch our streams. It's pretty rare we actually stream here on YouTube. Click that Twitch button and subscribe to us there as well. We're going to have one tomorrow at 8 p.m. UK time. You could say 9 p.m. CEST. That might be easier for people. I like that name, too. Bjorn. Bjorn Ironside. But it is a very common, what is it, Danish? I think it's a very common Danish name. Folks, guys, I'm gonna go heat up some coffee. I'm not gonna pause the game because I'm actually confident that with this position we can hold it. Put Sweeney here. I mean, just to be safe, I'll bring Tuttle back as well. I'll try to bring Williams back, but I think we've got this, man. This is pretty much just sit back and watch. Okay, I think we're fine, and yeah, we pretty much are. At this point, it's pretty hard to lose the battle. If you do really poorly in the first two parts of this battle, you can absolutely lose it. I have lost Shiloh in the past. But generally, if you can, like, at least, like, cause some casualties to the enemy and save most of your men, once you get to this position, fairly easy. There's still a chance they can win, but it's close to zero. It really is. At least with this game, I pretty much know what I've won, and I think we've won. And as you can see, we're still getting that fire from the naval boats off the coast, the ironclads. Look at that. That is devastating. Hi, how's it going, George? Welcome, sir. Some of our units did get sort of stuck back here. We didn't have time to move them forward, but we'll do the best we can. Just try to provide some supporting fire, and actually, like behind Johnson with the cavalry, we could definitely rout him, but I don't even want to right now. Just too much movement, and we could just stay put. I mean, honestly, we don't really have to make any effort here. We just have to hold. That's it. This battle's pretty easy at this point. Then again, look at those Confederates. It's a lot of Confederates. I think we'll be good, though. Another issue we have is ammo is running out, and without any supply wagons, that would be an issue if this battle continued for much longer. So let's hope that it lasts until the very end. Come on, Taylor. Reload. No, they're going to get Taylor for sure. Maybe not. Maybe not. Look at that. All of that shell shot coming from the other cannons. Some actual regular shot coming from our infantry. Unfortunately, yes, they did catch up to Taylor. And a few of our units are out of ammunition. Alright, I love that artillery. Just smashing into Shaver and the rest of the Confederates here, the rest of the rebels. I think it might be enough, just the artillery alone, to keep them away from the trench line or the trench works. This would be the trench works, wouldn't it? Since it's not really a line, if that makes sense. I mean, this is actually more of a barricade, but it's supposed to represent a trench. It looks more like a barricade from here. Which is basically just boxes, sandbags, whatever, stacked on top of each other. Either is extremely effective when enemies are attacking you, as you can imagine. Any sort of, like, defensible position like that is going to be pretty good. These guys right here. Unfortunately, we couldn't get any guys into the Hornet's Nest, because it would have been great just to have some guys at the Hornet's Nest to, right here, just to basically fire outwards. Even flanking shots at the enemy. We just didn't get that chance. And Johnson completely running off the battlefield. Look at that, guys. They are not stopping. They're like, forget this. You guys are terrible commanders sending us up this hill. Are you crazy? We don't want to be part of this anymore. Let me pour that coffee. I think we're in capable hands here. Alright, so that center, that really matters. I mean, even if we wanted, we could kind of pull back all our units, like, you know, just fold in, basically, over here to the center if we needed to or wanted to. I don't think we're going to, but, you know, for instance, if they just slam in every single unit here in the middle, these guys can always jump into the fight. Now, Martin's trying to do a charge. Pretty incredible, considering how many soldiers we have. But maybe he hasn't seen all of them. Maybe he doesn't realize what he's charging into, which is certain death. Yeah, now he realizes. A little too late, though. Keep it up, boys. Just pour it into him. We sure as hell ain't beaten. It means bear in Swedish. I didn't know that. That's very cool. Bjorn. I mean, it makes sense. Let's move Marsh up just to be safe. I might even take this cavalry and try and get a little bit behind the enemy here. Cause some disruptions. Oh man, look at that. That is a lot of enemies. Come on. Silver Spar. Just like in any conflict, you find some really funny and interesting last names. This one right here is interesting. I wonder what background that has. It has to be French, but the F and V next to each other. Kind of strange. Silfaspar. Maybe it's actually Scandinavian. It could be, right? With the Silfa here. It's kind of confusing. I know nothing about that commander, about Silfaspar. Alright, we got a chance here to hit Claiborne in the flank with Williams' next volley. And it looks like the enemy's also low on ammo, so this is good news. We're not the only ones low on ammo here. But what they're probably going to try to do is get close enough to do a charge, like that. Come on. Sword Tuttle can come out of retirement here. He doesn't have any ammo, so you know what? Might as well use him in the charge if they make it through. I don't think they're going to. But you know what? You can never be too safe. Let's go for it. Interesting. So it could be Scandinavian, the Silfaspar. Yeah, that F and V next to each other, I immediately thought, like, that's strange, to say the least. Like, that's a little, you don't see that every day. That's not common in English. Look at me going all grammar Nazi. We must locate its words. These names are not properly English. Swedish, interesting. And of course, there were a lot of Scandinavians at this time that had moved to the United States, even before this time, you know. But certainly during the Civil War, there were a tremendous amount of Scandinavians on either side. In this case, of course, Silva Spar is fighting for the Federals, fighting for us. And we've got Buell's Corps arriving as well. So, I mean, at this point, if there was any doubt, we'll go ahead and set these guys up. Interesting. So this must be a name that goes back quite a while. I mean, it's a name, certainly not a recently made last name, which, you know, a lot of people that came to America would change the last name to reflect a job they did or something like that, like Smith, for instance. Most common last name in the United States. You know, we're Smith, for the most part. Maybe Granny Smith apples, like maybe you were an apple farmer. Pretty embarrassing. It's pretty cool, though, that you guys can see the name and can sort of determine what it is. Because I would be really confused by the par. The ending there is sort of French-sounding. But I think you guys would probably pronounce it like pare instead of pare, right? Something like that. It's Claiborne Sweeney. You got enough men to do a charge. Do it, boy. No! It's like wacky races right now with the fast forward. Oh, Tribute is going to take the fight. And looks like we routed Tribute. Can we route Chalmers too? Let's see how many guys Sweeney can route. This is their last chance is to push through right here. They're not doing any charges, though. I just don't think they have it in them. And if you guys just look at this area littered with shells and with bodies, it is crazy. There's definitely got to be a lot of casualties for the rebels in this battle. Just with their constant attempts to get up this hill, it's not going to happen. Get out of here, Rebs. Stand down, Rebs. There we go. Chalmers is going to get the heck out of here. Grant is still there overlooking his men. Damn Yankees. How's it going, Texas? For you, long time no see, buddy. Good to see you. Yeah, you got here towards the end of the stream, but don't forget that when we end the stream, you can always watch the beginning of the battle once it re-uploads, which I think here should take maybe an hour or something. Proceeding to the next day. All right, we have covered almost an hour just doing day one of Shiloh. So we're going to call this Shiloh Part 1, and on our next YouTube stream, we'll definitely do Shiloh Part 2, or I should say the next time we play Ultimate General Civil War. Again, guys, if you're new here, please do make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also click that Twitch notification for our Twitch channel. Looks like we've got a lot left to do, and it's actually nighttime now. Shiloh is a massive battle, so I'm going to go ahead, save. And I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I want to thank everybody for showing up. No worries, buddy. Oh, we've been all right. We've been helping Gaming Kittens here. And Gaming Kittens, I hope you resolved that situation, man. Make sure to keep us updated. on what you do, and I hope everything goes well. All right, folks, big hug to all of y'all, and I'll catch you on the next one. My goodness, an hour and 15 minutes for part 1 of Battle of Shiloh. This is longer than Antietam. Okay, take care, guys.